to my channel. So this week's video is going to be about the changes that are coming to Disney World within like the next year or so. Also, I am wearing my Olaf ears today because we have our first snow of the season, which is fun, but I had plans for tonight that are gonna be canceled now, but it's fine. Also, before I get started, I would like to show you our newest member of the family. This is Jack. He is our 5-month-old Maine Coon, and yes, he is named after the Incredibles, Jack. But I've shown you guys Toulouse before, so I figured I should probably show you this little guy. He doesn't feel too great, but he's a little under the weather today, but he's going to be in here filming with me, so if you hear any noises, it's probably him. So yeah, we are going to be talking about changes that are coming to Disney, which is very exciting. So, let's talk Disney. Talk about is probably the thing that everybody is like thinking and super excited about, which is the new Star Wars land. Now apparently this is going to be like 2 lands from what I hear, but they're both going to be called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and I believe that there are 2 attractions that are like big attractions that are going to be within this Star Wars land. And right now all we know is that it's opening up in 2019. But definitely something that is very exciting. Personally, I have never seen any of the Star Wars movies. I know, it's a bit crazy. But I have not seen any of the Star Wars movies. I've always kind of wanted to, but they're like really long. Like I've seen like bits and pieces of them, but I've never like sat down and watched them. It's something I do kind of want to do before all the Star Wars stuff opens. But regardless, I think it's going to be pretty cool. Like I had never seen Pandora, like World of Avatar, like the Avatar movie, before seeing like Pandora and like the Avatar section of Animal Kingdom, and then I actually went and watched the movie. And honestly, I think it's cooler that I've seen it now, but either way, I think it's a cool part of the park. So I have a feeling Star Wars is going to be very similar. So I'm on Disney's like page right now trying to find the attractions. So one attraction will make you feel like you're on a Star Destroyer inside a hangar bay. And then the second is giving you an opportunity to fly the Millennium Falcon. So once again, not being a Star Wars fanatic, I have no idea what any of that means, but it sounds really cool. And also another thing, although there are no direct dates for when it's opening yet, they have stated that Disneyland will actually open before Disney World, and Disney World will open later in the year. So if you're in Disneyland, it's gonna be sooner for you guys, which is actually interesting because I am possibly planning a trip to Disneyland in March, so I might actually get to experience it before Disney World experiences it. One last thing about Star Wars Land is there will be a cantina, so kind of expected like any land, there will be food options and opportunities within it. Kind of tying in with that is the Star Wars hotel that they are creating. Now there's no date on this one, but I would assume it would come around the same time as everything else. Obviously I would assume it would come later because they started construction a little later on this. But yes, there will be a Star Wars hotel that will be really immersive and honestly really cool. Now I'm sure it will definitely be a pricey hotel nonetheless, but I do think it would be really cool, especially if you were a Star Wars fan, to kind of splurge and go ahead and spend extra money on doing something like that. Next, moving on to my favorite park, which is Epcot. So the first change that's coming is there will be a Guardians of the Galaxy ride, which is going to actually take place in Ellen's Universe of Energy, where that used to be. That part has been kind of roped off for a little while now because it closed back in August of 2017, I believe, yes. So that has been closed down for quite some time, but they are going to be replacing it with a Guardians of the Galaxy ride. Kind of going along with Star Wars, I have never seen Guardians of the Galaxy. I know that there's a character named Groot in it. That's about about the extent to what I know about Guardians of the Galaxy, but just like any Disney attraction, I'm sure it will be one worth riding. So next up is in the World Showcase will be in Paris, the new Ratatouille ride that is coming, which I am super, super excited about because I really enjoy that movie and I think it's just so perfect to throw it in there. Now Disneyland Paris already has a Ratatouille ride and it's like a 4D kind of ride through. If you guys have ever been to Universal, you guys have probably ridden like Spider-Man or Escape from Gringotts. I think that's the one. That might actually not be the one. I'm not sure. But it's like a Transformers is a good example. It is a 4D ride that kind of like takes you through scenes from the movie. So this is going to be very much the same kind of thing and I'm super excited. And these rides are expected to be open in time for Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary, which is in 2021. So although we don't really have a set date, there's like kind of a buffer time. The next thing I'm going to talk about isn't really exciting. I mean, in a way it's exciting, but recently they have announced that Spaceship Earth is going to be going through a large refurb, and I believe it's shutting down in I don't remember now, but I want to say it was like 2020 or something, and it won't be reopened until like 2022. There's like a long time range that Spaceship Earth is going to be shut down within the next couple of years. And once again, those times could change. Obviously, when we get closer to the time, we'll know. So obviously, Spaceship Earth is going to be going through a huge refurb, which makes sense because when you ride Spaceship Earth, it is very focused on, you know, the past and then the future. But the only problem is the future cuts off a little soon. Normally, you know, you get the introduction of computers and then that's it. Whereas you think now we are so technologically savvy now. We have laptops, iPhones, like virtual reality, so much has changed that it does make sense that to keep up with everything Spaceship Earth does need a refurb. Along with that, Illuminations will also be saying goodbye to, and supposedly it is going to get switched over to a new show at the end of Disney's summer season. And I'm going in January, so I'm so happy I get to see it one last time because I thought the last time I was gonna see it was the last time, so it makes me feel better that I still get one more shot at it. But Illuminations is another thing that is very near and dear to my heart, so it is gonna be very upsetting to see it go, but like anything else, kind of like Wishes, you get really upset about it, still upset about it, but things like Happily Ever After do make up for it because it's still an amazing show, and I know that they're going to put something really amazing into Epcot. The next thing is going kind of back to Hollywood Studios, which is Mickey's Runaway Railroad, or is it Railway? Yes, it's Mickey's Runaway Railway, which sounds kind of weird to say like that, but that is the next attraction, and probably the attraction that will be coming sooner than anything else. That is coming out next year, so in 2019. I was so devastated to see that the Chinese theater had closed. I don't know, I don't have any words. I loved that ride so much. So it's upsetting to see that go, but I'm sure this will once again be an amazing ride. I'm not sure if it's going to utilize kind of the same track. I would kind of imagine it would, because kind of similar to like the Ratatouille ride, it's kind of going to be like a ride through. However, this has been stated that it's going to be 2.5D, so I'm not really sure what 2.5D means, but I'm sure it's going to be great. Basically, you're following Mickey and Minnie and all their friends kind of on this adventure through Hollywood. I'm not sure. I feel like there hasn't been that much, or at least that I've seen, stated about this. So if you know any more about the Mickey's Runaway Railway, please let me know in the comments, because I'm really excited and I would love to know what it is. And I'd also really love to have kind of more of a timeline as to when, like, you know, I'd like a specific date as to when it's gonna open, because I'm very interested in it. I think it's gonna be a nice ride. However, I'm still upset that the Great Movie Ride had to go. Now hopping back to Epcot, this is something that was announced a while ago, but I haven't done like one of these videos in a very long time. So I figured I'd throw this in too. There's a space restaurant that is going to be coming to Epcot. No specific date yet, but it's basically going to be like you are eating inside a spaceship and looking out into space, which I think is going to be really cool. Apparently it's supposed to be adjacent from Mission Space, so I think it's going to be really cool, and that's definitely a dining reservation that I'm going to want to make when I go again. However, it's probably going to be very similar to, you know, when Be Our Guest opened up. It's probably going to be really hard to get a reservation, but it looks really awesome. Next up is another attraction that is planned to open by the 50th anniversary in 2021, and that is in Magic Kingdom, and that is Tron. Now, Tron is already in Shanghai Disneyland, and oh my goodness, it looks amazing. Once again, a movie I have never seen, but I don't think it matters. So basically you are sitting on like a bike, and you gotta kind of think of the restraints that are very similar to Flight of Passage, if you've ever been on Flight of Passage, where the leg restraints are kind of just like pushing against you and against your back, and that's what's holding you in, and you're on like a track, and it's like you're riding a bike, but it's a roller coaster, and part of it should be indoors, part of it should be outdoors if it's anything like the one in Shanghai. It looks amazing, and of course they've already started construction. When I went back over the summer, they actually had a wall up, and there was a new exit to Space Mountain because of the construction. So due to the construction, you weren't getting dropped off at the gift shop, you were like walking backstage and past the gift shop, but it looks amazing, and I cannot wait for that to open. And last but not least, probably one of the most talked about and anticipated changes coming to Disney, which is the gondola system. Now, the gondola system is going to operate out of Value Resorts and I believe a few other moderates. Let me actually pull it up so I don't get this wrong. So the Skyliner service will connect Disney's Art of Animation, Pop Century, Caribbean Beach Resorts, and other locations with Disney Hollywood Studios and the International Gateway at Epcot. So basically, this is going to help transport you without the need for buses, monorails, or, you know, a boat. It's basically another form of transportation to kind of help speed things up. And it's a huge win for the value resorts like Pop Century and Art of Animation, because that's going to allow kind of less of a flow onto the buses at night, and it's just going to be really awesome and give you another opportunity and a quicker way to get to the parks. And as I was kind of saying to my parents, now that you have a gondola system that can operate out of the value and some of the moderates that'll take you to Epcot, once you're at Epcot, you can take a boat to Hollywood Studios, or you can take a boat from Hollywood Studios to Epcot, take a monorail from Epcot to Magic Kingdom. So in a way, you're kind of eliminating even the need for buses, other than the fact that if you needed to get to Animal Kingdom or any of the water parks. So it's nice because you're connecting a lot of things together to help kind of alleviate all of the flow off of the buses. I have not seen an opening date for this, although when I was there over the summer, it looked like they had a lot of progress done. So it wouldn't surprise me if they get some up and running by the beginning of next year. They have been working on this for a little while now, so it really could be any time. If you guys have heard a specific date, let me know in the comments. If you guys have heard any information more than I stated about anything, please let me know in the comments. I'm just going off of what I have heard, what I've seen on YouTube, and what I have seen around the parks. So that is it for this week's video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And as always, I just like to point out that if you do like any of the ears you see me wearing, I do have an Etsy shop that I will link in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!